Well, you see them every weekend here on Fox and Friends when they go off the wall. And now we're taking them off the grid. Join us right now for their first off the grid segment. Fox and Friends weekend co-hosts. We got Pete Hegseth and Will Cain. Guys, good morning to you.
Good morning, Steve.
Peter, let's start with you. This is your idea.
Well, it was Will and I's idea together. You get us together and we'll cook something up for you. We love going off the wall on the weekend, going deeper on a topic. And then, you know, Will's in Texas during the week. I'm in Tennessee. I'm working on getting off the grid. I'm not fully really off the grid yet.
Right.
You know, generators, solar, things like that. But this segment's about pulling off the news grid, right? Where's the news grid in America?
Right.
It's Washington, D.C., it's New York City, it's the coast, it's Hollywood. What are they chattering about? Will and I want to talk about, what are our neighbors talking about? What's Tennessee, what's Texas talking about in a different angle for the folks in flyover country?
It's fantastic. And I'm from the ultimate flyover state, Kansas, right in the middle. Will, let's start with you, because this particular first off-the-grid segment is about how Texas is now apparently the #1 destination for Gen Zers. A Zillow headline says Gen Zers are choosing Texas for their new home more than any other state. And I got a feeling that's true because my daughter Sally moved to Texas, and she doesn't live but a mile or two from where you live.
It's getting embarrassing, Steve, if you think about it. I mean, we're on our way to being #1 in football, #1 in economy, #1 in population growth. I mean, at some point, we're going to have like a belt buckle made that has a big #1 on it, because no one's ever done that before. You know, it's a testament, honestly, it sounds trite, but it's a testament to freedom. And what I mean by that is I think it's typified by two things. First of all, economic freedom. Texas has been in the midst of an economic boom for, almost a couple of decades now, 20, 30 years. And that's because of low regulation and low taxes. It's a zero income tax state. And that matters. That matters when it comes to cost of living. And then with COVID, we understood the cost of freedom. Like, really, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to have my business shut down. And those two things together have added up to a life that people just want to have, including, as you pointed out, Steve, Gen Zers. I mean, young people who we think of like, I want to walk the streets of Broadway. Now they want to walk around outside and have a little bit of a freer life.
Well, in fact, we've got a breakdown because so many people go, oh, you know, so many people are moving to Florida. But look at this chart right here. 76,000 Gen Zers moved to Texas, 43,000 to California, only 41,000 to Florida. And then the list goes on and on. Pete, apparently Will has not heard that the Kansas City Chiefs that won the big game are not from Texas.
Yeah, well, he's in the tank.
Well.
I'll remind Will, as I often do, it was Davy Crockett, a Tennessean, that came to the rescue of Texas at the Alamo. You need to remember that. America remembers that. But I do tip my hat today to Texas. Here's a little math for everybody. This is what the graph of Tennessee's population growth looks like. 7 million, much smaller. This is what the graph of Texas's population growth looks like, about 30 million, so a lot bigger. This is what the graph of California's population growth looks like because of COVID. That's not what a good graph looks like. That is ultimately, I can give it you anecdotally. My church, our pastor, half of our church is from California. I'm in Tennessee. How do you get to Tennessee from California? Because you're running away from lunacy. Half of my school, California implants. You'd think, so some people are flying over Texas, making their way to Tennessee, which is also a zero income tax state, just like Florida. So lots of options, people voting with their feet. They saw the lunacy of COVID. Economic freedom's a real thing. And a lot of people moving off the grid, too, getting some cows.
Indeed.
Real quick,
Will,
Steve.
20 seconds.
Real quick, Steve. I don't want this to be a brag. I don't want this to be a brag session, Steve, but I also don't want to allow for misinformation. So just for the record, Steve, the Kansas City Chiefs were once the Dallas Texans and are owned by a Dallas family in the Hunts. And I never thought I would arrive at the point in my life where Pete Hegseth was bragging to me over ownership of Davy Crockett. This is a sad place for a Texan.
I got a diagram there.
Well, the Tennessee Titans used to be the Houston Oilers, too, so we stole your football team. Just saying.
Man. I love this segment. Off the grid. They should call it Off the Grid and at each other's throats. Will, Pete, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thanks, Steve.
You bet. All right.